A message for the chosen ones following October 21st. Please pay close attention to this. Don't ignore it. The course of your future depends on it. Listen very carefully. If you're hearing my voice right now, it's not by chance. It's not a coincidence, and it's not the result of some random algorithm. This is a directed transmission, a sacred echo reaching out across the digital void to connect with you and you alone, because you're one of the select few who needed to receive this message after the clock struck midnight on October 21st, 2025. The world has already started to divide into two separate and distinct timelines. The gateway for this split was a celestial event that most people on the planet slept right through, only to wake up in a reality that feels foreign to them, wondering why everything feels so dissonant and empty. But that won't be you. You were given a choice, a key, and a warning. This was the most significant energetic event of the year, maybe even the decade, orchestrated by the cosmos as a final severance. A major energetic cutting of cords. We're talking about the super new moon in Libra, which was much more powerful and dangerous than anyone let on. The mainstream spiritual narrative might suggest that a new moon is a time for gentle intention, planting seeds, and quiet manifestation. That's the commonly accepted belief, the comfortable story. But the truth, the reality that defied those expectations, is that this particular new moon wasn't about planting, it was about reaping. It wasn't here to help you build things up. It was here to help you tear them down. It was a cosmic detonation in the darkness designed to obliterate every false foundation upon which you've constructed your life, leaving only the unshakable truth of your soul's purpose. This event has been and continues to be called the Great Unveiling. For months, maybe even years, you've felt it, a deep, nagging sense that something is profoundly wrong. You've been going through life feeling like an actor in a play you never even auditioned for. The relationships feel shallow, your career path feels like a prison, and the person you see in the mirror feels like a stranger wearing your skin. This feeling isn't depression. It's divine dissatisfaction. It's the homing signal of your higher self screaming that you're living on a false timeline, a path built on societal expectations, inherited trauma, and karmic debts. You, the chosen one, the light worker, the grid keeper, have been feeling the tremors of this coming earthquake for a long time. The ringing in your ears that comes and goes, suddenly waking up at 3:00 or 4:00 a.m. with your heart pounding for no apparent reason, the dreams so vivid and strange, they feel more real than your waking life. These aren't random symptoms. They're signs that your spiritual antenna is tuning in to the incoming frequency of this super new moon. This moon was like a cosmic scalpel, here to perform radical surgery on the collective consciousness and especially on you. Its proximity to Earth, which is what makes it a super moon, amplified its gravitational and energetic pull, not just on our oceans, but on the waters of your subconscious mind, on the very fluid of your emotional body. It was here to pull to the surface every poison, every lie, every compromise, and every unhealed wound that you've buried deep inside. The reason this came as such a shock to so many people is because of its placement in Libra. Libra is the sign of balance, harmony, justice, and relationships. The common expectation, therefore, was that this new moon would bring a beautiful, harmonious, and balancing energy. But this was the great deception. The reality is that this lunar event achieved balance through chaos. It didn't gently nudge the scales, it shattered them completely so they could be rebuilt on a foundation of absolute truth. It didn't bring harmony to your existing relationships. It exposed every ounce of disharmony, every toxic dynamic, every energetic imbalance with such blinding clarity that you can no longer ignore it. This was a moon of radical, uncompromising truth. It was the moment the universe held up a mirror to your life and asked, "Is this truly justice for your soul? Is this partnership a true reflection of divine union, or is it just a trauma bond? Is this career path a sacred expression of your gifts? Or is it a prison that you've decorated for those who weren't prepared?" This sudden unveiling felt like a catastrophe. Relationships fell apart overnight. Careers suddenly felt so unbearable that people walked out without a plan. Hidden truths in families and friendships came to the surface, causing irreparable rifts. The masses called it chaos, but you'll recognize it as a purge, a necessary, brutal, and ultimately liberating purification. This was the promise of the event, the universe's plan, for those brave enough to face it. This is why you were warned, because you had a choice. You could either be a victim of this cosmic wave, tossed and turned by the sudden changes, or you could become the surfer, consciously riding this immense power to the shore of your new reality. The energy of this new moon isn't something to be feared, it's something to be commanded. But to command it, you must first understand its mechanics. This involves a 5-step process, a framework for navigating this portal. First comes the recognition, which is what's happening for you right now as you receive this message. Second is the purge, the period where you must consciously identify and release the falsehoods in your life. Third is the void, a terrifying but sacred period of emptiness after the old has fallen away. Fourth is the download, where the new codes for your true timeline are delivered to you in the silence. And fifth is the reconstruction, where you begin to build your new life, not from ego, but from soul. Most people got stuck in the purge, fighting to hold on to the wreckage of their old lives. They feared the void, so they'll never receive the download. They tried to rebuild using the same faulty blueprints and will find themselves in an even more painful loop of suffering. But you, the chosen one, are here to walk through all 5 stages with awareness and intention. This is your initiation. Let's delve deeper into the purge, because it was the most active and critical phase you entered under the dark light of this moon. The purge operated on 3 levels: the physical, the emotional, and the relational. On the physical level, you felt a sudden and intense urge to declutter. This wasn't just regular spring cleaning, it was a spiritual imperative. You looked at your possessions and saw them not as mere objects, but as energetic anchors to a past self that you're shedding. You had to be ruthless. Old clothes, gifts from past lovers, things you've kept out of guilt or obligation, they had to go. Every object that doesn't resonate with the highest version of yourself that you can imagine is a weight holding you down in the old timeline. Holding on to them was an act of self-betrayal during this portal. Your body itself also began to purge. You might have experienced sudden flu-like symptoms, digestive issues, or waves of exhaustion. Don't mistake this for sickness. This was your vessel clearing dense, stagnant energy. It was recalibrating its frequency to be able to hold more light, support this process. Drink copious amounts of water, eat clean, light foods, and rest as if it's your job. Your body was working harder than you can possibly imagine to prepare you for what's next. If you're feeling this resonance deep within your soul, if you know you're here for this great shift, I want you to anchor this energy right now by typing "I am awake" in the comments below. Let the universe know that you've received the call and are ready for the transformation. Now let's talk about the emotional purge, which for many was the most challenging aspect. The darkness of the new moon provided no external distractions, forcing all of your awareness inward. The amplified gravitational pull dredged up feelings you thought you had dealt with long ago. That childhood trauma you thought you processed resurfaced with the same emotional intensity it had the day it first happened. That heartbreak you thought you were over, you felt the grief as if it were fresh. This isn't a regression. The universe isn't punishing you. This is the core principle of reality shattering expectations. You expected that when a wound resurfaces, it's a sign of failure that you haven't healed. The profound reality is that these wounds returned for their final eulogy. They came back to be witnessed one last time, not with the immature consciousness of the child who first experienced them, but with the wisdom and compassion of the soul you are today. Your task isn't to suppress these emotions or even to analyze them endlessly. Your task is simply to feel them. Allow the sadness, the anger, the grief to move through you like a storm. Cry, scream into a pillow, let your body shake. This is an exorcism of old pain. You're creating space by allowing the feeling to be fully felt without judgment. You're liberating trapped energy from your cells, freeing up immense bandwidth for the new frequencies to enter. Finally, there was the relational purge. This is where the Libran energy of the new moon became most potent. Under this lunar influence, you suddenly saw everyone in your life with what can only be described as truth vision. The masks fell. You heard the dissonance between what people say and what their energy is actually communicating. A friend you've known for years might suddenly feel like a complete stranger, an energetic drain. A family member's passive-aggressive comments, which you used to brush off, now felt like daggers to your soul. A romantic partner's subtle manipulations were exposed in the harsh light of your newfound clarity. This was painful, and your first instinct might be to doubt yourself. The ego will whisper, "Am I being too sensitive? Am I overreacting? Maybe I'm the problem." That's the programming of the old timeline, trying to keep you small and compliant. You must trust this clarity. It's a divine gift. This new moon demanded that you set boundaries that felt like declarations of war to those who have benefited from you having none. It demanded that you have conversations that felt like ripping a bandage off a festering wound. And in some cases, it demanded that you walk away completely and silently from people you once thought you couldn't live without. This was the severance. Every relationship that wasn't built on a foundation of mutual respect, authentic support, and energetic resonance was revealed as a karmic contract that has now expired. To remain in these dynamics past this point is to consciously choose the timeline of stagnation. The shocking part of this experience was how fast it happened. This wasn't a slow fade, it was a sudden cut. One day you felt one way about a person, and the next, after the new moon had peaked, you felt a complete and total detachment, a finality that was both chilling and liberating. This was the work of the cosmic scalpel. It doesn't wound. It cleanly amputates what is necrotic. The key is to not resist this process. Don't try to reason your way back into a connection that your soul has clearly rejected. Don't try to mend a bridge that the universe has just firebombed. Your loyalty right now isn't to other people's feelings. It's to the preservation and integrity of your own energy. This is the ultimate act of self-love, and it's the price of admission to the higher timeline you're being called to. The loneliness you might have felt in the immediate aftermath isn't a sign that you've made a mistake. It's the sacred emptiness of the void, the second stage of this process. It's the clean, open space where the universe can finally deliver the blessings, the connections, and the opportunities that are in true alignment with your soul. You're not losing people, you're losing your illusions about them, you're making room, you're preparing the temple of your life for the arrival of the divine. This is the promise hidden within the warning, the medicine hidden within the poison. You're being cleared, cleansed, and prepared for a destiny far greater than the life you're currently living. You just have to be brave enough to let go of everything that isn't it. After the storm of the purge, a silence descended. This is the phase that will test you more than any other. This is where the true spiritual warriors are separated from those who are merely playing a role. We're talking about the second stage of your initiation, the void, the sacred emptiness. After you bravely decluttered your physical space, allowed the tidal waves of old grief to wash through you, and severed the energetic cords to the relationships of your past timeline, you weren't met with immediate bliss. You didn't wake up the next morning to a symphony of angelic choirs and a shower of cosmic rewards. Instead, you woke up to silence, an unnerving, profound, and all-encompassing emptiness. This is the most misunderstood and feared stage of any true transformation, and it's the reason why most people fail to complete their ascension process. They misinterpreted the void as a sign that they had done something wrong. They believed the emptiness was proof of their failure, that the loneliness was a punishment for the boundaries they set. Their ego, terrified of its own dissolution, will scream that this silence is unbearable, that it's a vacuum that must be filled at all costs. This is the great lie. The reality which so dramatically shattered this expectation is that the void isn't an absence. It's a presence. It's the womb of creation. It's the fertile darkness of the soil before the seed sprouts. It's the sacred pause in the cosmic symphony where the next note is being chosen. To enter this space and try to immediately fill it with noise, with distraction, with a new relationship or an old habit is the ultimate act of spiritual sabotage. It's like a farmer planting a seed and then digging it up every 5 minutes to see if it's growing, thereby ensuring it never will. Let's be brutally honest about what the void feels like so you're not caught unaware. It will feel like a profound loss of identity. The roles you once played, the partner, the employee, the friend, the child of a certain family dynamic, have been stripped away. When you look in the mirror, you may feel a sense of profound disorientation, as if you don't recognize the person staring back. Your motivation for the things that once drove you will evaporate. The career ambitions, the social climbing, the desire for external validation, it will all seem meaningless, like a game you no longer have the energy to play. You might experience a strange emotional flatness and numbness that feels even more unsettling than the intense pain of the purge. This isn't depression, it's a recalibration. Your emotional body is like an instrument that has been played violently for years and is now being retuned. It needs time to settle before it can hold the new, higher frequency melodies. You may feel a deep sense of isolation, not just because people have left your life, but because you'll feel that no one on earth could possibly understand what you're going through. You're correct. This is a solitary journey. It's the chrysalis phase. A caterpillar doesn't bring its friends into the cocoon with it. The dissolution into primordial goo and the reformation into a butterfly is a process that must be undertaken alone. To try and explain this to someone still operating on the old frequency would be like trying to describe color to someone born blind. Here lies the greatest danger. The most critical warning for this entire post-October 21st portal: the temptation to abort the mission during the void will be immense. The ego will launch its most sophisticated counterattacks to pull you back into the known misery of the old timeline. It will orchestrate coincidences. The toxic ex you just bravely cut off will suddenly text you saying they've changed and miss you more than ever. A job offer that mirrors the exact soul-crushing career you just left, but with a slightly higher salary, will land in your inbox. Old friends, the very ones who drained your energy, will suddenly invite you out, promising that things will be different this time. These aren't signs from the universe that you made a mistake. They're tests. They're the final gatekeepers of your old reality, checking to see if you're truly committed to your liberation. To succumb to these temptations, to fill the sacred emptiness with the familiar poison of the past, is to fail the initiation. You'll be sent right back to the beginning of the karmic loop. Only this time, the lessons will be harsher, the pain more acute, because you consciously chose to turn away from the door of your own freedom. The universe is infinitely patient, but it doesn't reward cowardice. The regret you would feel later knowing you were on the precipice of a completely new life and chose to retreat into the burning building of your past would be a burden far heavier than the temporary discomfort of the void. So what is the work to be done in the void? The work is non-work. The action is non-action. Your task is to simply be with the emptiness, to allow the silence to permeate your being. This is a time for radical stillness. Turn off the television, log out of social media, put your phone on airplane mode for hours at a time. Go for long walks in nature without headphones, allowing the sounds of the earth to be your only soundtrack. Sit in a quiet room and simply breathe. Don't meditate with the goal of achieving enlightenment or having a mystical experience. Meditate with the sole purpose of being present with yourself in the silence. Journal, but not to figure things out. Journal to allow the confusion, the fear, and the disorientation to pour out onto the page without judgment. This process is about creating an empty container. You've taken out the trash. Now you must resist the urge to fill the bin with new trash before the divine gifts have a chance to be delivered. You're signaling to the cosmos through your disciplined stillness that you're ready. You're demonstrating through your trust in the process that you're worthy of receiving the new blueprints for your life. The void is the ultimate act of faith. It's the space between the trapeze bars. You've let go of the old one, and you're flying through the air with no guarantee that the new one will appear. Your faith is the very force that makes it materialize. If you commit to honoring this sacred void, to resisting the desperate urge to fill it with noise and distraction, I want you to anchor this powerful choice right now. Comment, "I hold the space below," to solidify your intention with the universe and with this community of chosen ones. Let it be known that you won't abort this sacred mission. Now let's pull back the curtain and examine the cosmic mechanics at play. Why this particular new moon? Why October 21st, 2025? Why was it so uniquely potent? This wasn't a random celestial event. It was a perfectly timed, astrologically precise, surgical strike. As we mentioned, it was a super new moon in Libra. The supermoon aspect was critical. Its close proximity to Earth meant its gravitational and energetic influence wasn't just a gentle suggestion. It was a physical, biological, and quantum command. It bypassed the analytical filters of your prefrontal cortex and spoke directly to the water in your cells, to your DNA, and to the deep, primal archives of your subconscious mind. This is why the changes feel so visceral, so non-negotiable. It's a body-level upgrade, and the mind is the last to catch up. But the true power, the demolition crew energy, came from the planetary alignments forming a rare and volatile configuration around this lunation. On that day, the new moon in Libra formed a near-exact square to Pluto, the planet of death, rebirth, and soul-level transformation, which had just firmly re-entered the revolutionary sign of Aquarius. Let's break this down. A square is an aspect of extreme tension and crisis. It forces a breakdown so that a breakthrough can occur. It's an evolutionary bottleneck. Pluto represents the deepest, most hidden power structures, both in the world and within your own psyche. Libra represents harmony, justice, and relationships. Therefore, a new moon in Libra, squaring Pluto in Aquarius, was a cosmic declaration of war on all false harmony. It was a command to shatter any relationship, any contract, any social agreement that was built on a foundation of lies, control, or inauthenticity. Pluto in Aquarius is about the radical liberation of the collective and the destruction of old, corrupt systems. When the new moon triggered this, it brought that global systemic revolution into the most personal area of your life, your heart, and your connections. It demanded you ask, where have I been complicit in my own imprisonment? Where have I traded my soul's truth for the illusion of peace? Where have I participated in a relationship dynamic that is a microcosm of the very oppression I claim to despise in the world? This was the energy that toppled personal empires built on sand. Simultaneously, this new moon was forming a supportive trine to Mars, the planet of action and assertion, in the dualistic sign of Gemini. A trine is an aspect of harmonious flow. This was the universe's gift to you. It was providing you with the exact energy you needed to navigate the Plutonian crisis. The Mars in Gemini trine granted you the mental clarity, the verbal dexterity, and the decisive courage to have the impossible conversations, to speak your truth with precision, and to make the choices that would liberate you. It ensured that while the breakdown was happening, Pluto, you had the tools and the momentum to move through it effectively. Mars. It was the divine escape hatch provided alongside the divine detonation. This is why you, the chosen one, are feeling this so intensely, while others around you seem oblivious, still lost in the mundane distractions of the Matrix. It's because you're a part of the planet's energetic immune system. You're a grid keeper, a light worker, a frequency holder. Your nervous system is more finely tuned than that of the average human. You're the first to detect the incoming cosmic waves, and you're tasked with anchoring the new frequencies into the Earth plane. Your personal purge isn't just for you. As you clear your own trauma, you're clearing ancestral lines. As you walk away from a toxic dynamic, you're shattering a collective template of codependency. As you hold the space in the void, you are creating a stable, energetic field for others who will be waking up in shock and confusion. Your pain has a purpose. Your struggle is a sacred service. You're the vanguard, the spiritual first responders clearing the path for humanity's next evolutionary leap. This is your mission, and while it's a heavy burden, it's also your greatest honor. This new moon was like a massive activation of that mission, promoting you to a new level of service and personal power. You're not being punished, you're being deployed. This isn't for everyone, it's for the chosen ones who are ready to change their reality. I put out a deep briefing just for members called Warning All Chosen Ones. Watch this before November 2025. Rare Moon Portal still open. Prepare before October 31st, 2025, or miss this massive energy shift. That spiritual message really changed everything that month. In that video, I spelled out the exact activations and protections you have to do. Even though the original warning window has passed, this rare moon portal is still open, and the insights in that spiritual message are still life-changing. Click the link in the description or the pinned comment and watch it now, so you can really grasp this massive energy shift. As you sit in the quiet stillness of the void, having weathered the storms of the purge and understanding your sacred role, you'll start to hear the first whispers of the new reality arriving. This is the fourth stage, what we call the download. But the download isn't what most people expect. It's not going to be some booming voice from the heavens telling you exactly what to do. The universe speaks in a much more subtle, elegant, and personal language. The download comes in whispers, in symbols, in feelings, and in synchronicities. It's like the universe is planting little clues along your path, like breadcrumbs, leading you out of that dark forest of the void and into the sunny clearing of your new timeline. One of the first signs that the download is starting is a burst of synchronicities. You'll start seeing repeating number sequences everywhere. 1111, 444, 777, 222. Don't just brush these off. They're cosmic signposts, little winks from your guidance team, letting you know you're on the right track. You might be thinking about some obscure question and then overhear a stranger in a cafe having a conversation that gives you the exact answer you needed. You might see the same animal, an owl, a hawk, a butterfly, several times in a single day. And when you look up its spiritual meaning, you find a message that's so spot on, it takes your breath away. These aren't just coincidences. Coincidence is just a word used by those who are still asleep. This is the fabric of the matrix becoming visible to you. It's the universe showing you that it's in constant communication. Your job is to pay attention, stay curious, and follow the trail. Your dream state is another super powerful way you'll receive the download. During and after the void, your dreams will become incredibly vivid, lucid, and meaningful. The veil between your conscious and subconscious minds thins out so much that it's practically transparent. Your guides and your higher self will use your dreams to show you complex ideas and blueprints that your waking mind isn't quite ready to understand yet. You might have dreams where you're living in a new home, working a new job, or hanging out with a soulmate you haven't even met yet. Pay really close attention to how you feel in these dreams. That feeling is the vibrational signature of your future timeline. It's your soul giving you a sneak peek of what you're moving towards. You might also get direct messages in your dreams, like symbols, words, or even whole conversations that give you clarity on what your next steps should be. Keep a dream journal by your bed and write down everything you can remember as soon as you wake up. Don't try to analyze it right away. Just capture the data. Over time, as you look back at your entries, the patterns and the messages will become crystal clear. You're being handed the script for the next act of your life, one dream at a time. If you're really feeling the profound truth of your role as a grid keeper and a light worker during this huge shift, if you understand that your own journey is part of a service to the planet, then I want you to claim it right now. Type "I accept my mission" in the comments below. Declare that you're ready to step into this new level of your power. Beyond just synchronicities and dreams, the download will also come as a somatic knowing, like a deep, unshakable feeling in your gut. This is the intelligence of your body, which is way older and wiser than your mind. You'll be thinking about a choice, and an idea will pop into your head. If it's aligned with your new timeline, you'll feel a sense of expansion in your chest, a warmth, a lightness, a feeling of yes that just resonates through every cell of your being. But if an idea or opportunity is just pulling you back into the old timeline, you'll feel a contraction, a tightness in your stomach, a feeling of dread, a full-body no. You have to learn to trust this internal guidance system above everything else. It will never lie to you. Your mind can be tricked, programmed, and manipulated. Your heart can be confused by sentimentality and attachment, but your body, your gut, can't be fooled. It's your direct line to the source. Honoring its wisdom is essential for building a life of authentic power. Finally, the download will often show up as a sudden, overwhelming creative urge. After feeling numb and uninspired during the void, you'll wake up one day just feeling this unstoppable desire to create, to write, to paint, to compose music, to start a business, to design a new project. This isn't just some random whim. This is the new code, the new energy of your soul's purpose, trying to find a way to express itself through you. It's the blueprint for your future, becoming a creative impulse in the present. When this urge hits you, you have to follow it. Don't question it. Don't procrastinate. Act on it immediately, even if it's just a small step. That creative act is you physically anchoring the energy of your new timeline into the third dimension. It's the first brick you're laying in the foundation of the life that's been waiting for you on the other side of the fire. You've walked through the fire of the purge, you've endured the sacred silence of the void, and you've started to hear the divine whispers of the download. You've decoded the synchronicities, you've honored the wisdom of your dreams, and you've felt the first creative impulses of your new reality stirring inside you. Now you're standing at the threshold of the final, most tangible stage of this profound initiation. This is the fifth and final phase, the reconstruction. This is where you translate the ethereal blueprints you've received from the cosmos into the physical, three-dimensional world. This is where you go from passively receiving divine guidance to actively and consciously co-creating your new timeline. The reconstruction phase is where your faith turns into your reality. A lot of people who make it this far stumble here because this stage requires this unique and paradoxical blend of surrendering to the divine and putting in disciplined human effort. It's the art of building a new world while also letting go of any attachment to what that world is going to look like. It's about taking inspired action, without letting your ego desperately try to control the outcome. This is like the master level of the game, and the October 21st super new moon catapulted you right into this arena. Let's be clear about what reconstruction isn't. It's not about just sitting in meditation and visualizing your new life into existence, hoping that a new car, a perfect partner, and a dream job will magically appear on your doorstep. That's a really simplistic understanding of spiritual law, a passive fantasy that just keeps people stuck in inaction. The universe doesn't reward wishful thinking. It rewards courageous action that's aligned with its energetic currents. Reconstruction also isn't about the hustle. It's not about creating a 5-year plan, setting aggressive goals, and forcing your will onto the world through sheer effort. That's the old masculine way of doing things, the very system of control and domination that you just purged from your being. Trying to build your new 5D reality using old 3D tools is just setting yourself up for failure. You'll exhaust yourself, burn out, and find that the universe just keeps putting obstacles in your way because you're trying to build with the wrong materials on sacred ground. The energy of the new timeline is fluid, intuitive, and magnetic. It requires a completely different approach to creation. This is urgent, so don't skip this part. Watch that members-only briefing, warning all chosen ones. Watch this before November 2025. Rare moon portal still open. Prepare before October 31st, 2025, or miss this massive energy shift. That spiritual message really changed everything that month. I shared the activations and protections you have to do. Even though the original warning window has passed, this rare moon portal is still open, and the insights in that spiritual message are still life-changing. Click the link in the description or the pinned comment right now. The time for this energy shift is now. The core principle of reconstruction is this: you build your new life one aligned choice at a time. That big vision you might have seen in your dreams isn't going to manifest overnight. It's going to be built brick by brick, and each brick is just a small, seemingly insignificant decision you make throughout your day. The universe is constantly testing you, not with these huge moral dilemmas, but with 1,000 tiny opportunities to choose alignment over compromise. It's choosing to eat the vibrant living food that makes your body feel good instead of the processed junk that your old emotional patterns are craving. It's choosing to speak your authentic truth in a conversation even when your voice is shaking, instead of staying silent just to keep the peace. It's choosing to spend an hour working on your passion project, the one that lights up your soul, instead of numbing yourself with another 3 hours of mindless scrolling. Each of these small, conscious choices is a vote for your new reality. Each choice sends a powerful signal to the cosmos that says, I'm ready. I'm choosing this. I'm embodying this new frequency. Now, the universe doesn't respond to your words or your desires, but to your embodied frequency. When you consistently choose the actions that align with the version of yourself you're becoming, the universe has no choice but to rearrange itself to match that frequency. That's just the way it works. Let's look at how this applies in the key areas of your life that were dismantled during the purge. First, let's talk about your physical environment and your body, which is like the temple of your soul. Reconstructing your home isn't about interior design, it's about creating a sacred sanctuary. After you initially declutter, now you can start consciously curating your space. Every object you bring into your home has to pass a simple test. Does this object raise my frequency? Does it inspire me? Does it bring me a feeling of peace and beauty? This means being incredibly intentional. It might mean living in a minimalist space for a while instead of filling it with cheap, meaningless decorations. It's about choosing one beautiful piece of art that really speaks to your soul over 10 generic prints. It's about bringing in living plants, crystals, and natural materials that hold a high vibration. Your home isn't just a place to live anymore, it's your energetic incubator, the external reflection of your internal state. As you raise the frequency of your home, you'll find that your own energy stabilizes and rises to meet it. The same principle applies to your body. Reconstructing your physical vessel is about treating it not as a machine to be disciplined, but as a sacred animal to be loved and listened to. This means moving your body in ways that feel joyful, not punishing. For some people, that might be dancing. For others, it might be yoga or walking in the woods. It means listening to your body's intuitive cues about what it needs to eat, moving beyond the dogma of diets and into a loving, responsive relationship with your own biology. Your body is your primary instrument for navigating this new reality. Neglecting it is like trying to receive a beautiful radio signal through a broken receiver filled with static. If you're ready to step into this role of conscious co-creator to build your new reality with intention and divine alignment, I want you to claim that power now. Comment below with "I am building my new world." Let that be your declaration to the universe that you're no longer waiting for life to happen to you, you're actively shaping it. Next, we have to address the reconstruction of your relationships. This is probably the most delicate and rewarding part of the process. After the radical severing of the purge, the void created space for new connections to enter your life, but they're not going to show up if you're still radiating the frequency of your old relationship patterns. You have to become the person you want to attract. If you want a partner who's emotionally available, you first have to become radically available to your own emotions. If you crave friends who are authentic and supportive, you first have to be uncompromisingly authentic and supportive of yourself. The universe is like a mirror. It's going to bring you people who are a perfect energetic match for who you are, not who you want to be. This means the initial phase of reconstructing your relationships is a solitary, internal job. It's about healing your attachment wounds, learning to find validation within yourself, and becoming so deeply in love with your own company that a relationship becomes a beautiful addition, not a desperate need. When you reach this state of feeling completely whole and independent, the universe will start sending you the members of your soul family. These connections are going to feel profoundly different from anything you've experienced before. There won't be any games, any manipulation, any emotional roller coasters. There'll just be this instant sense of recognition, a feeling of, "Oh, there you are, I've been waiting for you." The conversations will be deep and effortless, and the support will be unconditional. These connections won't drain you, they'll energize you. They'll see the highest version of yourself and hold that vision for you even when you can't see it for yourself. These are the divine appointments that have been waiting for you on the other side of the purge. But you have to be discerning. As you start radiating this new higher frequency, you're also going to attract energetic tourists. People from the old paradigm who are drawn to your light because they want to consume it, not contribute to it. Your finely tuned intuition, your somatic guidance system, is going to be your greatest tool here. You have to trust the feeling, not the words. If a new connection feels off, if it creates a sense of contraction in your gut, No matter how perfect it looks on paper, you have to have the courage to walk away. This is you protecting the sacred garden of your new reality from invasive species. Now let's talk about your sacred work, your soul's purpose. For a lot of chosen ones, the purge involved the collapse of a career path that just wasn't aligned with who they truly are. Reconstructing your work isn't about just finding a new job, it's about activating your divine mission. The creative urges you started feeling during the download phase were the seeds of this mission. Your job now is to tend to those seeds. This requires a radical shift in how you understand work. Your purpose isn't a job title, it's the unique, energetic frequency that you came to this planet to embody and express. For some people, this will translate into a traditional career, but one that's now infused with purpose and authenticity. For others, it'll mean becoming an artist, a healer, a teacher, an entrepreneur, or a builder of new systems. The form is secondary to the frequency. The key is to follow the energy of joy, curiosity, and expansion. What are you doing when you completely lose track of time? What subject could you talk about for hours without getting bored? What problem in the world breaks your heart and ignites a fire within you to find a solution? These aren't just trivial interests. They're the signposts pointing directly to your Dharma. The practical steps of reconstructing your work involve taking small, consistent, inspired actions. It's not about quitting your current job tomorrow without a plan. It's about dedicating 1 hour every day to developing a new skill, building a new project, writing a book, or creating art. It's about saying no to draining freelance projects so you can say yes to the whispers of your soul. This is a process of building a bridge to your new reality while you're still standing on the shore of the old one. You build that bridge with every blog post you write, every coaching session you offer, every piece of art you create. Eventually, the bridge will be strong enough to walk across. The universe will signal when it's time to take the leap. You might get unexpectedly laid off from your old job, which isn't a crisis, but a divine push. The income from your passion project might suddenly match your old salary. The opportunity you've been dreaming of will materialize out of the blue. These moments are the result of all the small, aligned steps you've been taking. The shocking thing is how effortlessly it seems to happen in the end. But it's not magic, it's just the physics of co-creation. You did the internal work, you took the aligned action, and the universe simply responded in kind, delivering a reality that matched the frequency you so bravely chose to embody. The shock factor of this whole post-new moon period is in its speed and its finality. The changes you're making aren't just temporary adjustments, they're permanent timeline jumps. As you reconstruct your life, you're going to become increasingly unrecognizable to those who knew you before. They might accuse you of being selfish for setting boundaries. They might call you crazy for leaving a stable career to follow a creative passion. They might feel uncomfortable around your new, authentic energy because it highlights their own compromises. This is just the inevitable separation. You're moving on to a completely different vibrational wavelength. And just like an AM radio can't receive an FM signal, those who aren't upgrading their own frequency will no longer be able to perceive or relate to your reality. There'll be moments of grief for this, a sadness for the connections that can't come with you. Allow yourself to feel it, but don't let it pull you back. Your journey forward isn't just for you. Every chosen one who successfully navigates this reconstruction and builds a life of authentic soul-aligned power becomes a lighthouse. You become a living, breathing example of what's possible. Your energy, your joy, your very presence activates others. You show them, not by preaching, but by just being, that a different way of living is possible. You hold the energetic door open for those who are ready to walk through it. This is the culmination of your mission. You were purged, you were emptied, and you were downloaded so you could become a master builder, not just of your own life, but of the new earth itself. If you're feeling the truth of this in every cell of your being, if you know that your personal reconstruction is a contribution to the new earth, then anchor that understanding right now. Comment below with, "I am a lighthouse." Claim your role as a beacon of possibility in this great awakening. Finally, we have to talk about the most crucial element of the reconstruction phase: managing your energy. Your energy is now your most valuable resource, the currency of the new paradigm. You have to learn to protect it, cultivate it, and invest it with the wisdom of a master. This means doing a daily energy audit. At the end of each day, ask yourself, what people, what activities, what thoughts, and what environments gave me energy today, and what took it away? Be brutally honest. If scrolling through a particular social media feed for 10 minutes leaves you feeling drained and anxious, that's a massive energy leak. If having a conversation with a certain person always leaves you feeling depleted, that's an energetic vampire you can no longer afford to entertain. Your job is to systematically eliminate the drains and amplify the sources of power. This isn't selfish. It's a strategic necessity. You can't build a new world if your life force is constantly being siphoned off by misaligned energies. This is also why creating a daily spiritual practice is essential during the reconstruction. It doesn't have to be an hour-long, complicated ritual. It can just be 10 minutes of meditation in the morning to set your energetic tone for the day. It can be 5 minutes of gratitude practice before bed to attune your frequency to abundance. It can be a simple prayer to your guides, asking for clarity and support. This daily practice is your anchor. It's how you plug into your divine power source, recharge your batteries, and make sure you're building your new life from a place of abundance, not from a place of depletion. It's the conscious act of aligning your small human will with the grand cosmic will of the universe, making sure that the actions you take aren't just your own, but are divinely inspired and infinitely supported. This is how you move from effort to grace, from struggling to flow. This is how you build a life that's not only successful by the world's standards, but is a masterpiece of your soul. We've journeyed together through the crucible of the October 21st super new moon. We faced the demolition of the purge, navigated the profound stillness of the void, decoded the sacred transmissions of the download, and laid the first foundational bricks of the reconstruction. Now, as you stand in the midst of building your new reality, we arrive at the final, most advanced, and most misunderstood aspect of this entire cosmic initiation. This is the integration of your new energetic signature, a process we can call embodying your future self. This isn't a separate stage that comes after reconstruction. It's like the quantum lubricant that makes the whole building process flow with grace, speed, and miraculous ease. This is the secret key that unlocks the next level of your co-creative power, moving you from a conscious builder to a master manifester. Most people believe in the linear progression of time. You do the work, you build the thing, and then one day in the distant future, you'll finally become the person who deserves to live in that reality. This is the biggest illusion of the third-dimensional matrix. It's a trap of constantly striving of "I'll be happy when." The shocking, paradigm-shattering reality that this new moon portal activated is that you have to become that person first. You have to embody the frequency, the mindset, the emotional state, and the daily habits of your future self right now before the external reality has now fully caught up. You don't attract what you simply want. You attract what you are at your core. Embodying your future self is both an art and a science. Collapsing time by aligning your current vibration with the reality you desire. Let's unpack this seemingly complex idea into a practical and down-to-earth method. The first crucial step is gaining crystal clear clarity about the energetic signature of the future you. This isn't about pinpointing a specific house or a precise bank balance. Those are merely external forms, and clinging to them can actually limit what the universe intends to bring your way. Instead, your focus needs to be on the feeling, the emotional state of the person living that life. Close your eyes and connect deeply with the version of yourself that's thriving in your fully reconstructed, soul-aligned existence. What does that person feel like within their body? Are they calm, grounded, and centered? Or are they perhaps vibrant, expressive, and brimming with creative energy? How do they carry themselves? Do they walk with unwavering confidence and an open heart? What is their most dominant emotional state? Is it joy, profound peace, boundless freedom, or deep gratitude? How do they typically think? Do they perceive problems as insurmountable obstacles or as exciting challenges ripe with potential? Are their thoughts primarily focused on lack and worry, or on possibility and abundance? You must become so intimately acquainted with this future self that you can practically feel them resonating within your very cells. This is your energetic North Star. This is the specific frequency you are now tasked with cultivating each and every day. The second vital step is the daily practice of embodiment. This is truly where the magic happens. Each morning before you engage with the outside world and its demands, you must consciously and intentionally step into the energetic frequency of this future self. This can be a powerful practice that only takes about 5 minutes. You simply sit, close your eyes, and consciously call forth the feeling state you've carefully identified. You breathe deeply into it. You allow the feeling of peace, or perhaps joy, or unshakable confidence to fill your entire body completely. You then imagine this energy radiating outwards from you like the warm rays of the Sunday. You aren't just pretending to be this future person. Instead, you are remembering the fundamental truth of who you already are, deep down at a soul level. You are activating the specific timeline where this version of you is already a tangible reality. Then you make a conscious decision. Today, I will move throughout the world as this version of myself. I will make all of my decisions from this place. I will speak from this place. I will act from this place too. This simple act of conscious embodiment is the most powerful command you can possibly give to the universe. It's a clear declaration that you're no longer passively waiting for the future to arrive. You are proactively pulling it directly into your present. Now, this is the point where the rubber truly meets the road. Throughout your day, the old reality, the familiar 3D matrix, will inevitably present you with various challenges specifically designed to test your commitment to this new elevated frequency. These are what we can accurately call vibrational reality checks. You might receive an unexpected bill in the mail, strategically designed to trigger your old patterns of scarcity and panic. You might have a challenging interaction with someone that's designed to trigger your ingrained patterns of people-pleasing or defensiveness. You might even face a significant setback in your new project that is designed to trigger your old patterns of self-doubt and ultimately giving up. In each of these moments, you have a critical choice to make. The old self, with its default programming, will automatically react with the old, familiar, low-frequency emotion. But the future self, the one you consciously embodied each morning, would respond in an entirely different way. The future self, who lives in a state of inherent trust and abundance, would see the unexpected bill and immediately think, okay, money is simply a form of energy. The universe is testing my faith in its provision. I know that the necessary resources will inevitably appear. The future self, who is grounded in their own sovereign worth, would navigate the difficult interaction with calm, compassionate boundaries, not reactive anger or frustration. The future self, who sees all challenges as invaluable opportunities for substantial growth, would view the setback as a valuable course correction, not as a damning sign of personal failure. Every single time you are faced with one of these pivotal reality checks and you consciously choose to respond as your future self, would you effectively perform a miracle. You literally rewrite your own neurological pathways. You dissolve an old karmic pattern that was holding you back. You anchor the higher frequency of your new timeline more firmly into your physical reality. This is the great work we're all called to do. It's moment-to-moment, choice-by-choice alchemy. It's consistently choosing the high road, not just because it's morally right, but because it is strategically brilliant and effective. It's undeniably the fastest way to collapse the perceived time between exactly where you are currently and precisely where you genuinely want to be. The universe sees you holding the frequency of your desired future reality, even when the current circumstances don't immediately reflect it, and it enthusiastically rushes to close the gap. It essentially says, "Ah, I see. This is who you truly are now. Let me quickly rearrange all the props on the stage to perfectly match this new character you are playing so authentically." This is how sudden and unexpected opportunities often appear, how the exact right people seem to effortlessly find you, how synchronicities accelerate dramatically until your entire life becomes a continuous flowing stream of miracles. It's because you didn't wait for the physical evidence to magically appear before you genuinely believed. You believed so fiercely and wholeheartedly. You embodied your future self so completely that you became the irrefutable evidence itself. If you are genuinely ready to commit to this master-level practice to consciously collapse time and pull your desired future powerfully into your present through the incredible power of daily embodiment, then I sincerely want you to make a sacred vow to yourself and to the entire cosmos. In the comments below, please type, "I embody my future self." Now, this is your personal command. This is your activation into that higher potential. Let's now delve even deeper into the quantum mechanics of exactly why this works so effectively, particularly within the supercharged, energetic field created by the potent October 21st portal. This super new moon didn't simply shift the external world around you, It fundamentally upgraded your core energetic hardware. It activated previously dormant strands of your DNA, including the so-called junk DNA that mainstream science hasn't yet fully explored or understood. This unique DNA contains the activation codes for your multidimensional abilities, most notably including the inherent ability to consciously interact with multiple timelines simultaneously. Prior to this powerful portal, you were largely locked into a single, linear perception of time. Now, however, you have been given the access codes necessary to consciously operate as a quantum being. You can consciously choose which specific timeline you deeply wish to experience simply by choosing the specific frequency you consciously wish to embody. The deliberate practice of embodying your future self is essentially you consciously tuning your personal radio dial to the exact frequency of the timeline you most desire. The old timeline, with all of its inherent struggle and limitation, is technically still broadcasting, but you no longer have to actively listen to it. By consistently and intentionally choosing the higher frequency of your future self, the lower signal of the old timeline becomes progressively weaker and weaker until it eventually fades into simple static and then ultimately disappears entirely from your immediate experiential reality. This is precisely why, as you deepen into this powerful practice, you will begin to experience a rather strange and disorienting phenomenon. You will look back at the person you were just a few short weeks or months ago, and they will genuinely feel like a completely different person, someone you merely read about in a captivating book. You may even have significant trouble clearly remembering the specific details of the suffering you previously endured. Not simply because you have a bad memory, but because you are genuinely no longer a vibrational match for that prior reality. The files themselves have essentially been archived on a different energetic server to which you no longer even possess the password. This is genuinely the true meaning of complete healing. It's not simply about endlessly processing the past and its associated traumas. It's about consciously choosing a new and empowering reality so completely that the past organically loses its energetic charge and its ingrained grip on your present. This is the ultimate freedom that the October 21st Gateway so generously offered you. The door is wide open and waiting for you to step through it. The conscious choice to actually walk through it and to continue consciously walking through it every single moment of every single day is ultimately and entirely yours. Now, here's a crucial warning to be aware of for this exciting stage of the overall journey. As you begin to consistently embody this high-frequency future self, you will inevitably become a powerful energetic transmitter. Your personal energy field will naturally radiate a frequency of deep coherence, unconditional love, and boundless possibility that is deeply attractive to others, but also deeply triggering to the more chaotic, fear-based energy of the dying matrix. You essentially become a walking, talking pattern interrupt for everyone you encounter on a daily basis. This can manifest in one of two distinct ways. Firstly, you will likely find that complete strangers are seemingly drawn to you. People may smile at you for no readily apparent reason. They might start up conversations with you while waiting in the grocery line. They may even impulsively tell you their entire life story. This is primarily because your more coherent energy field feels like a welcome oasis to their own dysregulated nervous systems. They are unconsciously seeking the energetic medicine that you now naturally carry. In these passing moments, your primary task is simply to be genuinely present, to consciously hold your elevated frequency and to offer a kind and supportive word. You certainly don't need to preach or to try to actively save them. Your very presence alone is the most valuable service you can offer. However, the second potential manifestation can often be much more challenging to navigate. Those individuals who are deeply invested in the drama victimhood and pervasive control paradigms of the old world will often be intensely triggered by your inherent light. Your genuine peace will inevitably highlight their deep-seated chaos. Your boundless freedom will clearly illuminate their own self-imposed prisons. Your authentic personal power will feel like a direct threat to their fragile ego structures. These specific individuals may consciously or unconsciously project their own shadow onto you. They might lash out with harsh criticism, unfair judgment, or even blatant envy. They may consciously try to provoke you specifically to pull you back down into a low-frequency emotional drama. It is absolutely critical that you do not take the bait. You must clearly understand that their often negative reaction has absolutely nothing to do with you personally. It is merely a reflection of their own internal war and struggles. To actively engage with their inherent drama, to defensively defend yourself, or to get pulled into a heated argument, is to essentially abandon your crucial post as the steadfast lighthouse keeper and jump directly back into the stormy seas of emotional turmoil. You must become energetically Teflon, allowing nothing to stick. You consciously hold your center, you intentionally maintain your higher frequency, and you allow their negative projections to effortlessly slide right off of you. This may sometimes mean silently walking away from the situation. It may also mean responding with a simple neutral statement like, "I genuinely hear you, but I simply do not share that particular perspective." This is the essence of mastering energetic sovereignty. It is you consciously refusing to allow the inherent chaos of the old world to in any way compromise the sacred temple of your evolving new one. If this entire empowering journey deeply resonates with the deepest truth of your very soul, if you recognize yourself in these words and are genuinely committed to this powerful path of mastery, let's definitively seal this intention with one final powerful declaration. This declaration is expressly for you, for this vibrant community, and for the entire universe to witness. In the comments below, please write with all the conviction of your open heart, "I am the future now." Welcome home, chosen one.